Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is a brew day and we got the tree up and we're working on the stockings. I had to, because we had the fireplace redone, so all that is new this year. The tile work, the mantle, it's all new. So I didn't want to nail like the way I had it before. I had all the stockings nailed, so I gotta get more hooks. I got a couple more to go over there on the wall. So yeah, all right, let's go over here to the brew. All right, so what we're doing today, ho ho ho. Cheers, guys. Switched pots. Sanitizer's in this pot now, so I'm using the Mega Pot 1.2. We're sitting at below 60 degrees. This has been sitting in the garage, obviously. Water's in here up to the 4-gallon mark. I gotta get my sparge water ready. So we're doing Eladio's Wheat Ale. So we got 3 pounds of Bavarian wheat. This is gonna be pretty much an all wheat beer. There's no 2-row or pale malt going in. So it's a mixture 50-50 of my own recipe plus from the Brew Bible. So you can see the flaked wheat in there. What else we got here? We got about 4 pounds of, ooh, geez. I gotta get my notes. Hold on a second. Yeah, so we got about 4 pounds of wheat, 0.75 a pound of Cara Munich Type 3, another 0.75 a pound, Digman Special Belgium. If you want to convert that 0.75 ounces, you know, you can go ahead. Then we got 1 pound of Munich, 1 pound of flaked wheat. Then we got, like I said, we got the Hallertau at 60 and Tettnang at 10. We're going with a different yeast than what I used last time. I'm going to go with a traditional Munich Classic. So yeah, hopefully this all works out. And we don't have a 2% beer again, so that's why I decided to switch pots so I could really monitor temperature here. And I have the probe as well in here to get a double. Yeah, and they seem to be pretty much the same, right? Let's see, like, 55, something like that. Yeah, 52, 46, 56. So they seem to be spot on together. So hopefully, we won't overshoot. So let's crank that heat up, get something started here, get the fire going. You know what I'm saying? Gotta find my lid. Put the lid on. Now, see, what's different about this pot is. So I'm hoping that it boils right. This is, these pots are really designed for those butane, out on the deck. Well, not on the deck because I'll probably burn the damn deck down. But, somewhere with concrete, maybe out in the garage, brewing on open flame, to get that real roaring fire. But I was always afraid of boilovers, and it's cold, and so, I don't know. I'm a stovetop brewer at heart. I have 2 burners just sitting in the garage. One day I'll get back to it, I guess. So that's why I have less water here, not the full 5-gallon boil, but I will, once this, does the conversions, I mean, try to bring it up to the boil. We'll see how much of a boil we get. Obviously, when I add more water to it, it's going to bring it back up to probably the 5-gallon mark or 4.5-gallon. We'll see. And I'm going to do the top up at the end because, like I said, you're going to have boil off rate. So, and every pot's different, so I have to also figure that out. And that's why that's what the captain says. It's an adventure because you never know what's going to happen. So cheers, guys, and brew day's on. All right, guys, we're back. We're approaching 150 mark. I'm probably going to kill it at 150 because I think these pots tend to keep rising after I kill the heat. So hopefully once it hits 150, it'll just rise up a couple more degrees to 155, and then I'll dough in. Inside seems to be pretty much with that same probe. Say 140s, 8, something like that. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, 148 and 148. So we're pretty much on a match with the temperature. So that's good. So I'll bring it a couple more minutes. We're hitting 150 now, looks like. So I'm gonna wait for that needle, and then I'm gonna kill the heat. Because like I said, I don't want to overshoot like last time. It was brewing like at 160, and I think that's what killed all my freaking conversions. So let's hope for the best this time around. Alright guys, that's what we're looking like. Trying to just really dig down in there. Give us a mix so there's no dough balls as always. Feels pretty good. We got a lot of grains in here, man. About 4 or 5, like 6 pounds of grains altogether. You know, a pound of wheat, 4 pounds of the other wheat. You know, the flaked wheat. A pound of Munich. Oh yeah. All right, let's temperature wise. Can't see it. Yeah, 150 on the dot. This one went down a little bit, so I'm kind of wondering if I should turn it on just for a minute to get that back up. I want to keep it at 150. I'm going to put the lid on, obviously, and maintain this temperature as best I can. It's definitely probably going to drop down to 145. There's nothing I can do, you know. I want to get it a winter jacket I have, an old paint coat, and I'm just going to do it like that. Yeah, I don't want to mess with it too much. One on the inside says 150, so I'm going to kill it, you know, leave it at that, even if this one's just off a tiny bit. I don't want to overshoot. You know, that heat will fucking, you know, go right up. So, alright, put the lid on. We'll bring you back here now. Guys. Alright, guys, we're coming up to the boil. Well, trying to slowly but surely. So, sitting at 4 gallons. I've already sparged it out. So there's the color. Looking good. So now I'm gonna dispose the grains, clean the grain bag out, and wait for this to come up to the boil. And we're gonna do first hop addition of the Eladio. Okay, we're rolling. We are finally rolling. Our 1 ounce of Eladio going in for 60. Alexa, set a timer for 60 minutes.
1 hour, starting one.
Alright, there you go. Give it a little mix. Ooh, I smell them. Alright, guys. The last 10 will be the Tetnang, and I'm out of Irish moss. I forgot to get some, so it'll be just the last hop addition, and then chill, and well, before I chill, then add the DME. Alright, we just did the last hop drop of Tetnang for 10 minutes. I couldn't grab the camera fast enough, but by the time the timer was going, you know, saying 10, so little timer off, whatever, but we got 10 more minutes to go, and then we'll start chilling down. Alright, we're chilling down now, and saying around 110, something like that. Let me check this one.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, getting close to 100 inside. One thing I forgot to take into consideration, that this tap is a freaking monster. Look at the thickness of that, and then the other one is nice and small. So I could easily use my tubing to put, you know, I put the tube on the end and transfer it in. Now I gotta just let it rip into the damn thing and catch it. Yeah. So it is what it is. Gotta adapt. So we're just gonna open up the tap when we're ready, when it's cool, get it in here and top it up. So again, I forgot that this thing is a monster, just like the other tap on my other fermenter. See, the tubing is perfect. So when I go for my keg, from this to the keg, it's perfect, right? Because my other tap from my other fermenter, so I just, if I want to change the fermenter, I change the whole get up. I gotta go buy another tap like that size because the other tap on the other fermenter is just as thick as this one. I would have to invest in bigger tubing then, I guess. Either one. Either buy a new tap for the fermenter, but in here, with this thing, I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm not going to change that tap out. I'm not messing with that. That's when leaks happen and other stuff like that. Like, I already don't, like this. It has this, gasket on the outside. Look at the width of this, and there's a gasket on the inside. It's like, it moves. You know what I'm saying? It's wobbly. And it took me forever to tighten this up so it wouldn't leak. Especially with the heat and expands and contracts and all that stuff. So, like, this one is nice and welded. You know, the only thing, it doesn't have the temperature probe. So I don't even know why they have this here. I guess you could put the temperature probe in, but again, with this stuff, it's all. Let me see where it's all gasket on the inside, that type of thing. So it is what it is. All right, guys. I'm talking too much. All right, guys. Time for a recap. My father came over, so all brew day footage. Procedure shut down. But finished the beer, chilled it down, got it topped up to 5 gallons, and tell me what you think about this. How come when I take my original gravity and I put the hydrometer inside the fermenter, it was at 1050-ish, okay? A lot of foam, so it was hard to judge what it really was. So I'm going to call it 1050 inside there. But I redid it in the tube, in my flask, the long tube, and it was 1060-ish. So I'm like, a little bit higher. Like I told you before in the past, every time I would take a hydrometer reader using that flask that way, it'd always be like 1080, 1090, like super high. Today it was like 1060. But inside the fermenter with all the volume, it's floating at 1050. So I don't know, is it 1050 or is it 1060? So I wrote on there 1050, 1060. I guess we'll see because I always do, obviously, the flask when I do my final gravity. I always have. And so we'll see the numbers. I'm hoping that the number's really low. So 1050 to something real low. That'll be about 5.5% beer. But think about it. I mean, I got a lot of grains in there, man. Plus the 3 pounds of DMA. It should be pretty high. It should be 6%. I'm going to redo my calculations. I think it was supposed to be about 6 or 6.5% when I was on putting it on the computer in one of the sites. I forget what it's called. Not. I don't pay for the one that you pay for. I do the free one where you put all your grades in and everything. It tells you, what the color is going to be and all that stuff. I forget the name. It escapes me right now. But so, what do you think about that? Why is it that my ABV, the original gravity, is lower when it's inside the fermenter, but in the flask it's higher? I don't know. It has to do with volume. I mean, it's the same. It's supposed to go by sugars, right? So, I don't understand it. It's very strange to me. So, I don't know. So, 1050 or 1060. So I put it in the book, 1050 to 1060. It's going to be definitely, the conversion probably definitely happened. I mean, it was before I put the heat back on after the hour. It was like a 1045, so it dropped down 5 points. So hopefully things worked out. I mean, it's hard to keep that thing insulated. That's why when I used my old pot, it definitely always kept at good temperature because I would heat the oven up, and it was small enough pot to stick in the oven, and then, in a warm oven, and it would stay at 1050, that whole time. So it's hard, but whatever. I'm hoping that it all works out, and I'm sure it will. But like I said, I just don't understand the whole volume thing. Like, what is it better to read from? Sticking the hydrometer in the brew, in the fermenter before you pitch the yeast, or do the flask. I don't know. The flask, like I said, always brings the numbers up. So hope you enjoyed the video for what it's worth. I know we didn't have the end there, my normal end showing with the color of the beer and everything. But I'll bring you back in 2 weeks when we're about to. That'll be New Year's probably. So New Year's Eve we'll be probably sampling it. I think the day before will be, I have to see, but I think like around New Year's Eve ish is when it's getting kegged. So maybe I'll be able to force carbonate it and do a taste test, or at least if it's got 24 hours of pressure on at 30 pounds, we'll be good to go. So we'll be having Eladio's Wheat Ale by New Year's Eve, or New Year's Day. And if you saw the color, it's a lot darker. It's more like a Dunkelweizen color than last year's brew. Because last year's brew, I used a lot of real pale malt in it with the wheat. So, and there was some Munich in it, but I wanted to do with a more traditional wheat ale, get that darker color. So like that's why I had the whatever special B and the other Cara Munich or whatever the hell it is. I think it's a little bit darker. It gives that darker color. I think so. Yeah. So till we do it again, my friends, remember, let's set sail.